Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey everybody, Darcy Monet from the Darcy Monet Vocal Style Studio. This is my very first American Idol video review for the season. Buckle up, it's gonna be a bumpy ride. Anyway, I'm going to get into it and go really fast because there's so many singers. I chose my standouts from the last two nights, from the 18th and 19th. But before we get started, I just want to say that I feel like this batch of kids this year I'm really impressed with them because they seem to be really grounded. They seem to be sensitive, more sensitive. I feel like the last few seasons on American Idol on Fox, they were so sophisticated and so savvy and calculated and just, they were already ready to be stars. You know what I mean? And I felt like part of why we watch American Idol is because of them plucking the unknowns that would never have gotten looked at a second chance, a first chance, if not for this show. So I love that seems to be what's going on here. And these kids, I'm just loving Generation Z right now. I think they're good kids. Anyway, let's get moving. My first standout is Effie Pissarro. She was a juicy girl with the shaved hair on the sides, and she sat at the piano, sang a wonderful original song. I really, really liked it. The only thing was, a great singer. Her chest mix was wonderful. There was absolutely no straining going on. So there was some technique there that, if it's natural, great. If it was taught, even better. But I did feel like she was missing something vocally. There was a connection vocally. It was so pristine vocally that I didn't connect with her. So I feel like if you can't sing in front of a room of blind people and tell them that story with only your voice, we've got a problem. Okay, so I hope she finds that connection as she moves to Hollywood and that she can tell that story better with just her voice. Okay, Tyler Gordon is the kid who had the beanie on and was the rock singer and claimed to have 8 octaves. Yeah, no. That's physically impossible. I don't think a piano has 8 octaves. I'm looking at my piano. I'm not going to waste time counting. Actually, yes, I am. Yeah, a piano has only 7 octaves. A human being cannot have an 8-octave voice. That's just insane. So anyway, here's the thing. He had a rock voice, and he had a lot of different elements to his rock voice that were correct. But for some reason, it went all wrong. I can't even put my finger on why none of it was working, but it just wasn't. And sweetie, you're adorable and you had a beautiful set of choppers. So, get yourself on a toothpaste commercial is what I say. My next one, Shannon O'Hara. This was the girl who was the nanny. And I have to say, and I mean this in not a bad way, but when they showed her first walking up to the table to sign in, I thought she was the mother of the person that was walking with her. She's an old soul. She has an atypical old Hollywood look, like when the girls in old Hollywood, the golden era, were 20 years old, but they looked like they were 40 because of the way their hair was done and their eyebrows were plucked and all that kind of stuff. That's the kind of look I thought she had. It was very interesting, very atypical. So of course I'm immediately rooting for her anyway, as the atypical herself. I loved the timbre of her voice. She sang When We Were Young by Adele, but I thought maybe there was a little too much mimicking of Adele. So I hope she comes into her own, but I really liked her, and I really hope that she gets through some rounds in Hollywood because I felt intrigued by her. She had a really lovely timbre to her voice. Next up, Amelia Hammer Harris. This is the gorgeous girl whose father wrote the hit songs and who she didn't know until later in her life. I loved it when Lionel goes, "You're not the belter, you're a sultry singer." And I was sitting there going, why am I not loving this? I should be loving this, because she was doing fine. But at the same time, I also felt like I was white knuckling it. Like at any moment she was going to crash and burn. You never want your audience to feel that way when you're singing. Okay. So when he said, "No, you're a sultry singer," I was like, oh yeah, I need a little Sade from this girl. I need a little sweetest taboo, So she sang Gimme Shelter, and I feel like with lessons, she could do that just fine. But I could tell she's doing it on her own. She doesn't know what she's doing exactly. She was so beautiful. They passed her through, and I kind of felt like if she wasn't as pretty as she was, they might not have passed her through. So anyway, she's one to watch for me to see how she might possibly grow. Next up, oh, the skincare boy. Keep selling the skincare, sweetheart, because you don't have the motor skills to be a great singer. That's a sad reality, and something I would never say this harshly to anybody in my studio. But some people, everybody can improve with voice lessons, but some people just don't have the physical capability to get beyond a certain point, and that's this boy. And I have to tell you what some of my pet peeves are here. I know an amateur singer, the minute they go, and I, it's like, no, it's and I. And if you're going, before you start a phrase, stop singing. Just stop it. That's it. Okay. Next up, oh, Maddie Zom. She was the girl who brought her best friend with Down syndrome in with her. And of course, she's a juicy girl, and she has PCOS, which is really, really a horrible, horrible disease. And I really felt for her. But, I'm always going to, root for the girls with a little meat on their bones. But then she opened her dadgum frickin' cool mother trucking mouth. And she was like Adele with a little edginess to her timbre. And I just loved her voice so much. I just can't even, it's just the coolest timbre, and I couldn't even stop and think, okay, vocally, what's to correct? Because I was so enamored with the actual tone quality of her voice. That's something you're born with, kids. If you're born with something that unique, you deserve to be heard. That's what I'm saying. Next up, we've moved to the 19th now. That was all the 18th. My standouts for the 19th. Adriana Bolton. All right. Sorry, Jesus. Sorry. But I had an instant dislike of her because she was a Barbie. Again, sorry, Jesus. But not that. It's not that I hate pretty people. It's not that, I swear to God. But she was beyond confident to the point of cocky. And it was really disappointing because I was like, when she says, I grew up singing opera, I studied opera, I was expecting some really good singing. And here's the thing, I heard potential in there. She's saying natural woman, if you recall, but she needs a coach that can really teach her how to sing pop. She said she taught herself how to sing pop. No, sweetie, you haven't taught yourself how to sing pop yet. You don't understand that you can't sing with that palate arched like that and sound like you're singing a pop song. She sounded like she was singing like, oh. No. Stop it. Here's the thing. You're gorgeous. You're confident, which matters in this business. A little pretentious, but whatever. Get a coach that can teach you how to sing pop songs properly. There is an absolute difference in how you approach a pop song as to how you approach singing classically, and somebody has to teach you how to do it because you haven't figured it out on your own. Okay, so anyway, that's why she stood out to me. Brandon Elder. Oh, this was the kid, he had long hair, who said his mother traded him for a car when he was an infant, and then was in a foster home, and then a single woman adopted him. And here's the thing, I was like, before he even sang, I was like, for God's sake, I don't care if he is the most tone-deaf mother we have ever heard. Get the kid to Hollywood. Let the kid have a future. This is one of those boys who really could have fallen through the cracks and really could have had a terrible life. And so I was rooting for him. And here's the thing, he sang that original song for his mother, and I thought it was just beautiful. It was beautiful. Very raw voice, very imperfect voice, but I don't want to change it. He had a special quality to him that no amount of voice lessons can create, no amount of polishing and stuff like that. I don't want him to be polished, actually. I liked him just the way he was. A little breathing here, a little basic stuff, but I wouldn't want to mess with that voice for anything. The whole combination just really worked. Brittany Holmes, she was the girl who was the voice coach with all that gorgeous dark curly hair. And here's the thing, very good singer. But Lionel had some really great advice for her, is that, okay, stop teaching and feel it. And that's a big thing that a lot of voice coaches and professional singers who've had a lot of study and technique get. You've got to, at some point, you learn the rules so you can break them later, okay? And that's what she needed to do. She needed to start breaking her rules so that we could feel the story she was trying to tell. Also, as a vocal coach, she should know better than to be singing with her chin up, and because that causes tension. But she was very good. She was just a dime a dozen voice. But I think if she could connect, with the emotions of it, then she could move from good to great. Okay, Dominique. Singing A Song for You by Donny Hathaway. He's a freaking star. Every note out of his mouth. It's just a voice like butter. He was like opening his mouth and doing all these crazy licks and it just hitting every pitch perfect. Everything. It was just like, he made it look so easy. I wouldn't even know what to do with that guy. I'd be like, you don't need voice lessons, bruh. Moving on. He's a star. Wonderful. Daniel Etheridge. Oh, he was the Korean boy who sang a song for his sister. I loved him so much. First of all, I was so excited to see an Asian singing because, my God, there are a lot of Asians out there that can sing their faces off. And the American music industry refuses to recognize that, particularly Filipinos. Those people can sing. And I'm really, really just rooting for somebody of Asian descent to get a shot in this country. And I loved this kid. I loved his voice. He had so many technique fails. Honest to God, he's doing this crazy things with his face, but he's one of those people who, a good vocal coach can take a voice like that and keep their style, help them sing more safely and yet keep their style. But somebody like that, it's like, I feel like his style is there because of all the terrible things he's doing to his voice. And so that'd be a really, hard road to, go down with him, because I wouldn't want to change his sound because I love it. He's so comfortable. He's just telling the story. It was like, singing was just like breathing for him. Just doing that, he was just like there's nothing else this kid should be doing. I just really loved him, and I'm very interested, and I loved the song, so I'm very interested to see how far he goes. And my absolute favorite so far, Marcio Donaldson. I can't even read my own writing here. Marcio Donaldson. He's the boy from Compton with the little baby Rashad. I boo-hooed the entire way through his audition. First of all, I'm a sucker for babies. I'm a sucker for the story of him taking the baby at such a young age and taking care of it. And clearly he's so madly in love with him. So that started me off, but then he got up and sang. And there are better voices already put through to Hollywood. But that boy was telling that story so vividly, and he's an actor. I could see him not just having a pop career, but his whole presence while singing, telling the story I was like, I could see him doing Broadway. So comfortable telling the story with his voice and really meaning it and really giving you the guts. He put his guts on the ground there. And you could tell because then he broke and, busted into tears after he got done singing. Beautiful, beautiful. He is so far my favorite. I couldn't even get onto his vocal technique at this point because I was so moved by his whole entire performance and his story. And I just really watching for him. And so, yeah, they saved the best for last there, as far as I'm concerned, for this week's shows. So, okay, that's it. I gotta go because I'm trying to keep this under 15 minutes. And there was so much more to talk about with so many other people, lots of good singers this year, and very much enjoying, surprised with how much Luke Bryan actually seems to know, because every time I've heard him sing live, he never seems to sing in tune, so whatever. Katie, I wish, she's a little weird. I don't know why she's always dressed like she's going to the club. Then, of course, Lionel is rich with information and also very proud of himself and his career, as he should be. I'm enjoying the season. I'm invested, and we'll be doing these every week. And if there's anything you want to suggest to me to make this better, I know I can try to cut it down, but it's really hard with 2 nights in a row. It'll get easy. I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants right now. Please give me your feedback. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who are your favorites? Who are you rooting for? Whose voice did you hate that you thought I loved, and why? You know, just let me know. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and please feel free to share. Here is my information so you can stalk me on the social media. Thanks very much, and keep singing like you mean it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.